Hey there everyone, my name is Haley and welcome back to Oracle SMP. So today we're starting off over by our completely unfinished castle because I would like to finish the little bit of the mountain and the first floor of the castle today in today's episode because I'm tired of having all of my chests just kind of, thrown over there. Behind that giant mushroom, and like I actually want a storage system that functions, and then I wouldn't have to constantly go run around to all of my farms to pick up stuff, because then they would just automatically get funneled to the storage system, all the items from the farms would. So it's like, this is something that definitely needs to happen before we move further in our base. We need to get this first floor of the castle done so we can eventually work on putting in our storage system. So I've kind of gone around and planned out a little bit of like what's gonna go on as far as the mountain is like concerned. So this dirt ring around here, this is what the mountain is going to be, and then like I haven't quite decided, so like I don't know, it gets kind of weird because what I was planning for this wall over here is, instead of completely enclosing it, I was gonna leave a space open that would like go down into the water, and then we could have like a water entrance or something, or like a boat dock as part of our castle, because I think that would be really cool. So then this part of the mountain would go out this way and then like kind of cliff down to the water there and wrap around here and go like something like that. But then I'm just not sure what to do about here, because I don't want this to really be any taller than this, because I want a lot of that foundation to show of the castle. So we'll have to kind of see as we go what feels right, but this is just kind of a vague like plan of where the concrete is going to go, and then it kind of is following along of what we did over here. So like we can see we have like these different curves going up and down along the foundation, and that's kind of what I'm trying to imitate over around the rest of the castle. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on the mountain first and do quite a bit of that probably off camera, because it's really not something I can do on camera because it's a lot of like trying stuff and then removing it and figuring it out as I go. So probably I'll just play around with that, try to do a lot of the mountain, probably if not all of it, in the next couple clips here. But I will be back with you guys once there has been some progress made on this mountain. Alright everyone, I am back, and I have actually completed, I think, pretty much 3 sides of the mountain. So let me show you what I've got. So this is pretty much the same. I finished this little bit over here, and I've also cleared out a lot of land in this area. If you can remember, there was this big like hill right here. I totally cleared that out, and I kind of figured out where this mountain is going to go, because I don't want to totally remove this mountain. I think I'm just going to like shorten it a little bit, so maybe take it to like that height and then have it kind of taper down. But I do want to keep this mountain here, and eventually it will all be covered over with the gray concrete, to give it the same like stone look that this part of the mountain has. So then it would make more sense to have this part here, because like it's not very tall compared to just everything around here. Like this really isn't a mountain, it's more of a hill, but I can kind of like make it seem like it's just part of the mountain that like goes like that somehow. But anyway, this is the first side, and then I've also done over here, if I can get across, I've kind of mapped out where the castle is going to go. So if you can see, like right along here, this is the wall of the castle, and then same over there, I kind of marked out with those blocks, like the pillars where those are going to be, so that way I didn't use up more of this concrete than what was needed. But yeah, this whole side, and then wrapping around to over here is also done. And the reason I didn't go down any lower is because I'm going to bring the ground up to the mountain in a little while, or I might make some of it go like a little lower and a little higher, but for now, this is what I got. And then I ran out of concrete, or else I would have continued this along here. And my plan for this area is I went around and mapped out, like I have been doing with the rest of the island, what part of this is actually Mushroom Island. And there's like a whole lot of extra space around this little peninsula over here that has potential to be used as our base. So we're going to make this whole like section right in here a mountain, and then it'll come in along this line, and then this will be the other edge. So this will kind of jut out like so, and then back here we're going to do the whole water entrance or something, but for now we're just going to build the whole castle wall and just have it go straight down to the ground. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the mountain, and now we can get to the exciting part, which is the rest of the castle. So I think it would be cool to do this as a little bit of a time lapse, showing you guys the last 3 sides of the castle, and I'm gonna build the whole thing today. I don't care how many times it takes me to like go and get more materials, it's going to be done. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started, I guess. Okay, so when I was originally recording this episode, I had planned to do this time lapse, but it turned out way longer than I thought it was going to. So instead of just playing music throughout the whole thing like I normally would, I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of explain to you guys why I've been gone from YouTube so long. It's been like an entire month, and I haven't taken that much time off in quite a while. I was doing really good on having a nice normal schedule going on, but unfortunately, life kind of happened in the month of May. It was just a really weird month for me, so let me kind of go ahead and explain what was going on, why I've been gone, and my plans going forward on my channel. So you can kind of think of this episode almost as like a mini podcast with very, very loose quotation marks of like, this is definitely nowhere near a podcast, but that's just kind of what I'm gonna call it. So anyway, I started recording this episode of Oracle SMP back in the first week of May, and then from there, like, it was going fine. It took so long to build this whole castle, though. Like, originally this episode is probably going to be late just because of how long it took me to build the stupid thing. It ended up taking me 9 hours alone just to do the castle part, not to mention the amount of time it took for the mountain and collecting all of the resources and making the concrete and all that kind of stuff. So probably in total, this project took me at least 12 hours just to build, not even like edit the video or do any of this voiceover stuff. Like, it was a long project, and you know, I was only able to do a couple hours of recording each day because of, you know, work and other things that I had going on in my life. So really, just building the castle, like, or just building this whole thing probably would have taken me about a week and a half, or I think that's about what it took me in the long run. But of course, that wasn't even the worst issue. Right, like, I think it was like around the 5th of May, we had this like really, really bad windstorm where I live, and like my power went out mid-recording. Like, the recording was going and the power went out. It was awful. Like, the recording kept going though, which was really weird, even though the laptop that I have like had died at that point, and I forgot to like stop the record button. So like, it had recorded for like 7 hours, which I had to just cut out of the video, which obviously no big deal. But anyway, and like a tree fell in our driveway too, so I couldn't even go somewhere else to get like internet back and power and all that kind of stuff to like keep recording. I just had to like wait until the power came back on, which took I think about a day. So that was like an entire day lost, which really sucked. So anyway, after the power came back on, I kept like working on building and recording and stuff. But then Mother's Day happened, which was May 13th, which, you know, taking like the weekend off so that I could spend time with my family, that kind of thing. And then immediately after Mother's Day, the Monday after, I had to start dog sitting for a family friend. And that lasted until May 18th, which was that Friday. So that whole week I was staying at someone else's house, and like normally I dog sit quite a bit. It's something that I do to make a little bit of extra money on the side. But like normally the people I normally dog sit for, I can record while I'm there because their dog is usually pretty quiet, very well behaved for the most part, and it's usually a good opportunity for me to record a whole lot of videos without being interrupted by, you know, family members or my 5 animals at home or that kind of thing. But this dog, I swear, was the worst, like, mannered dog I've ever met. She had no manners. She didn't know, like, what the word no meant. It was so awful. And, like, she was, like, the most needy thing. Every single time I would sit down, she wanted to be, like, up in my face, so much to the point where she wanted her mouth to be in my mouth, which is disgusting. And I kept having to, like, push her down, and it's like, if she would have just, like, laid down and I could just pet her, that would have been fine. But it was just so excessively, like, in your face. I just couldn't stand it. So, and, like, that wasn't even the worst part, because, like, if I had my laptop on my lap, or I sat, like, at a table or a desk and with my laptop, she couldn't really get on my lap, but she would then bark, like, non-stop. She would get up and growl and bark at me, like, trying to get me to pick her up and put her on my lap, and it was just non-stop. And then even when she did, like, lay down and finally, like, go to sleep or something, if I started talking, it would be right back to barking and climbing on me and that kind of thing. Like, she would not leave me alone, which, like, in some cases is sweet and nice, and you might think that's not such a bad thing, but when it's literally every single hour of every single day, it's a lot. So unfortunately, my plans of recording that whole week were kind of out the window. So then when I got back home, that next week I started taking on more hours at the place that I work, because I'm trying to save up some money so I can go back to school, because right now I'm not going to college anywhere. I would like to go back to school at some point, and then also possibly, like, move out of my house, get an apartment with one of my friends. So that's kind of like my long-term in real life plans, so I need some extra money to be able to do that. So I've been taking on more hours at work, which is a big schedule adjustment, and so that whole, like, next couple weeks, the last bit of May was just, like, I needed time to, like, focus on my real life stuff, working, adjusting to my new work schedule, that kind of thing. So by the time I was actually ready to keep recording, unfortunately, my microphone was broken, and I have no idea how or when that happened, because the last time I had used it, it was working perfectly fine, and, like, there's no reason that it should have been broken when I went to go use it, like, a month later, but things just seemed to happen, and I don't know if it was, like, because I carried it over to the dog sitting house that I was staying at, like, I don't know if, like, it got broken in transport, but it was, like, part of the inside of the plug on the microphone, like, broke off, so there was no fixing it. There's no way you could, like, I could even take it and have someone else fix it. Like, it's totally broken, which sucks, because it was a really nice microphone. It was a Blue Yeti. Like, I got it, I think, for Christmas a couple years ago, and it's, like, an expensive, I mean, it's not, like, super expensive, it's still considered a cheap microphone, but for me, like, I don't want to drop, you know, $130 for a new microphone all the time. So I ended up having to do some research. I was debating whether or not I wanted to get another Blue Yeti to replace my old one, or try to find something else that's maybe a little bit cheaper. And I ended up going with the Samsung Meteor microphone, which, to me, like, I did my research, looked at reviews, looked at YouTube videos showing the audio quality, and that's the biggest thing for me, was the audio quality. I wanted to make sure I had a nice quality sounding microphone, but didn't, like, with the Blue Yeti, part of its big price tag is that it has, like, a bunch of different recording settings that you can choose, and, like there's a lot of stuff that I never ever used with it. Like, I used the same setting every single time I recorded. It just wasn't worth it to have all of that extra stuff with it. And so this Samsung Meteor, in my opinion, I don't really hear that much of a difference in the sound quality. The Blue Yeti might be a little bit better, but like it all depends on your own personal settings, really, how you configure your microphone so that like the way you like it to sound. So for me, that wasn't that big of a difference for me to want to get the Blue Yeti again over this like smaller Samson Meteor. And like so far, I am loving this new microphone, and I'm so glad I got this one instead. It's about $40 cheaper than the Blue Yeti, but with nearly the same audio quality, and it's a lot smaller of a microphone. Like the Blue Yeti is huge, and I never realized until I got this new one how big that Blue Yeti really is. Like it's ridiculous. Like it weighs so much, it's really hard to transport to different places. This Samson Meteor is so like small and compact. It's probably about like 5 inches tall. And then when you have the legs folded down, probably like 7 or 8 inches. It's like really small, really lightweight. I can set it pretty much anywhere and it's not gonna like fall over on me, whereas the Blue Yeti, like sometimes if I'd set it on something, it would like wobble. It was just a mess. This one seems a lot more stable and nice, and I've like the Blue Yeti gave me so many problems. Like the cord was broken, and then the microphone broke, and then it just like there were so many times where I couldn't use an audio clip because something went wrong with the microphone, and I don't know what. I didn't know how to fix it. I'm really hoping this one is going to be a lot better, and I'm really liking it so far, so I'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully it sounds okay right now, because this is what I'm using right now to record. Let me know what you guys think, if there's, you know, something wrong with it, you need me to adjust, like, whatever. Let me know what you guys think of this microphone that I'm using at the moment. I love it so far, so that's the most important thing to me. But anyway, now that I finally have this new microphone, I can get back to hopefully uploading at somewhat of a decent schedule again, because before I had to take this like month-long break, I was doing really well, like with a schedule and everything, like a personal schedule. It wasn't one that I actually broadcasted because, you know, I was bound to break it at some point, but I was trying to do like Tuesdays and Saturdays, or Tuesdays and Fridays or something, I can't remember now, like 2 videos a week basically on average, and that was working really, really well, so hopefully I can get back to that. And I'd also kind of like to add another series back to my channel, because right now I'm only doing Oracle SMP and the 100 Baby Challenge. And I feel like I really, really miss playing modded Minecraft. Like, it's been so long since I've had a good modded series. I've played it, like, by myself, like, on my own time, that kind of thing, without it being part of a YouTube series. But I really just want to record it again. I think it's like such a fun thing to do. All of you guys really seemed to love when I was doing Stella Luna. That seemed to be a really, really great series, and I kind of want to bring something similar to that back. Not exactly Stella Luna again, because that just didn't work out in the long run, but I would like to bring some sort of modded Minecraft series back. I just don't know like what version, if it should be single or multiplayer. Like, there's a bunch of different options as to what I could do. So I'm going to list a bunch of these options, and I'm going to have a poll on this video where you guys can vote which one you'd most like to see on my channel. So option 1 would be to bring back my old Pixie Craft series, which if you scroll down on my channel a little bit, you can find it. I think the last episode I posted was like 8 months ago at this point. That was a 1.7.10 modded single player series, and it had a lot of like magic-y related mods, like Ars Magica, I believe Thaumcraft was in there, Witchery, that kind of thing. Those are a lot of mods that I really enjoyed playing, and I haven't touched them in a little while, because the modded stuff that I was doing like off camera by myself was like an updated version, and like Thaumcraft is completely different. There's no witchery in like 1.10, which is the version I was playing in, so it could be nice to go back to that same Pixie Craft world where I already have some stuff started with those mods, and that's one option for me, to bring back Pixie Craft with the same world, same mods, same everything. Option 2 would be to bring back the same mods from Pixiecraft. So again, Thaumcraft, Witchery, Ars Magica, Forestry, like all those kind of mods. Bring all of them back, but make a new world out of it. Like instead of going back to the same Pixiecraft world that I was already in. So that's option 2. Option 3 is to make a new single-player modded series in a more updated version of the game, so with different mods. Probably it would be like 1.10.2 would be the version that I'd be doing. So that would be another option, is new world, new mods, new version, but still single-player. And then the last option is for me to make a new modded SMP server. So I'd be playing multiplayer with other people, and it would be like not the same mods as Stella Luna. It would be like new mods, probably more along the lines of the mods that I would be using in a Pixiecraft series, so more magic-y related mods, that kind of thing. That's the last option, and I know a lot of you really loved Stella Luna. I could do a Stella Luna Season 2, or I could do something completely different. I don't know yet, but please go ahead and vote on this poll. Let me know which one you guys would want to see on my channel. If you have suggestions for mods that I should use in those series, please put those down below as well. But that is, I think, about all the time I have for this time lapse. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and leave a like down below. I could do more time lapses in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Talk when they find midnight.